guys, happy Monday. Good to be back delivering the message this week. Being that it's Father's Day, just want to take a second to wish a happy Father's Day to the best dad that I can think of, and that would be myself. No, just kidding. Sorry, Dad, you would have taken that joke too. So, but no, seriously, want to take a second and say happy Father's Day to my dad. Thank you for raising me up in the Word, for bringing me to church, for never stifling any of my dreams or anything like that. Really appreciate you, and for showing me how to be a good dad. So, if you'll flip in your Bibles today, we are going to be in Hosea chapter 1, verse 2. Going along with the dad theme, I wanted to get into the book of Hosea because I really like the book of Hosea. He's probably my second favorite minor prophet. First would be Amos. We talked about him a few weeks ago, but I really like the book of Hosea, and not for anything specifically that Hosea does, but for the message that God gives to Hosea. And speaking about Hosea, Hosea is a prophet, and God comes to him, and what he says in chapter 1, verse 2, he says, when the Lord first spoke to Hosea, he said this to him, go and marry a woman of promiscuity and have children of promiscuity, for the land is committing blatant acts of promiscuity by abandoning the Lord. So, when you look at Hosea, the only thing that God gave him to do as far as his message is concerned right here is he's saying, hey, I want you to go marry a woman that's going to cheat on you a lot and have some illegitimate children. And Hosea's answer is okay. And you read on forward, and it goes through, and he talks about him marrying this woman Gomer and having these children. He has a child, as you read through, that's basically God saying, hey, there's going to be bloodshed. That's what he named his first kid. His second kid was named, no longer am I going to have compassion on Israel. And then he has one more son, and his name is Lo Anami, and it means you're not my people and I'm not your God. And what's always interesting to me when I look at the book of Hosea is that you've got three kids running around with those names. And it's really interesting because they're walking along the town, and you got Hosea saying, oh, come here, you're not my people and I'm not your God, as he's going to the grocery store, going to Walmart. He's like, oh, come over here, God has abandoned you and there's going to be bloodshed. That's always really something interesting. And so why am I talking about Hosea on Father's Day? There's a lot of, and I'm keeping it brief today because it is Father's Day, guys. There's a lot of non-traditional fathers in the world today. And there's a lot of families that are broken apart. We were talking about it in church today and the statistics behind that. There's a lot of single parents, there's a lot of single fathers, single mothers, and days like today are tough. But what's interesting about God and what God does is he puts examples of just about everything that you could possibly be going through in the Bible. So you look at Hosea, he's going through this family and this marriage that's essentially a sham because, his wife's cheating on him all the time and she has all these children that may or may not be his. It hints strongly as to them not being his. But what does Hosea do? Does he go and run for the hills? No. Does he tell God, no, I'm not going to do that? No. He uses the situation that God puts him in, and he uses it to the best of his ability, and he does exactly what he can through that. And you wonder why he's put in this position, and when you read through the book of Hosea, like why is that important? Why does he marry this woman who cheats on him? Why does he have these illegitimate children? And what God is saying, look, when my children commit sin, that's how I feel. I feel that I'm in a relationship with you and that you're cheating on me, that you're being promiscuous and that you're going around and you're going behind my back. And that meant so much more to Israel because God had made this covenant with Israel. So as it carries over today, look at a marriage that's falling apart. That's what God is saying happens to our relationship with him when there's sin in our life. And he uses Hosea and he uses this relationship and he uses those children as an example that, sometimes life can go okay because being a father is one of the best joys that you can possibly have. But when you're disconnected from God, when your relationship is fractured, then there's going to be hurt and there's going to be things that you don't understand and there's going to be pain. And God paints that picture perfectly with Hosea. And what's great about Hosea is in chapter 14, it talks about restoration. And it talks about the fact that God will heal that relationship if you'll just turn around. And what's good about Hosea is he did love his wife and he did love his children and he fought for them and he did all these things for them. As you go through, you see multiple examples of Hosea basically having to go and buy his wife back from people. Hosea did love his wife and he did love his children. Just like when we sin, we still do love God, but we made a mistake. And what carries over in that promise is God promises that he will restore that relationship. And I just really love this book because I don't mean this in a negative way or a blasphemous way, but it really puts God's emotions in a very human way where we can understand it. God is reaching down and he's making a connection that we as people can understand. Because everyone in this room, everyone watching today has been hurt, has been cheated on, whether it was, a relationship that wasn't a marriage or even if it was one. Everyone's been betrayed before. And God is putting a real human spin on it that, hey, I understand what that's like because I feel it every time our relationship gets fractured. And it really just takes it and puts it in a real human perspective, and we can look at God's feelings and understand. So, like I said, I was going to keep it brief today, guys. Thank you for watching. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there.